Greetings everyone and welcome back to Alea Iacta Est. We have played since 867 and we are now in the year 1444, the start date of Europa Universalis. Without further ado, I will present to you the conversion. And it looks like this. I started out by exporting the game using the DLC converter. Though I were not pleased with the result, so I had to do some modifications to make it feel just right. And in this video I will show you all the differences between the Crusader Kings game and the Europa Universalis game. So, first off, I switched some provinces around, where it made sense. For example, Germany had provinces inland of Sweden. I gave them back to Sweden. Simple as that. It would just have ruined the game to see every war being fought over some random inland provinces and them being forced to give them back to Germany and the like. Also, stuff I had to change was Lithuania had its capital here, so I simply moved the capital to a random province here. It's currently in, I think it's here in Vilna, though you can't see it in this map mode before you started the game. And gave this to the Knights of Santiago. It's an entirely justified move as well. I mean, Lithuania is a Catholic kingdom, and they would probably not mind giving a province that they have no real use of to the Knights, a holy order. So anyway, I also moved some cores, mainly between Bohemia and Byzantium, because Bohemia have this entirely dislodged weird kingdom, and I wanted them to have a chance to unify their borders. So I moved some random claims they had here to the neighboring provinces. I also gave some claims to Poland, for example, on Semplin here, so they can create a contiguous empire or kingdom. So, I also removed the cores from some outlying provinces that were not of the country's primary culture. For example, this Bern here, I removed Poland's core on it, because that didn't make sense for them to have it. I removed Germany's core on Narva, because it's Estonian, not German. I also gave the Teutonic Order a claim on it, because they used to own it for a long time. Seeing as duchies and holy orders cannot de jure shift anything, I just had to add it in for them, because I felt that it was the logical thing to do. And some other examples are Lotharingia's province here is not cored because it's Castilian. And yes, no, I think the Knights of Santiago still have cores here. Well, there are some other places where I've removed cores, but it's always in illogical places. So anyway, I also edited the culture for a few countries. Most of the Muslim countries were Bedouin Arabic, because the Arabian Empire used to own everything. And I looked at the culture map and decided to switch the culture for certain countries without a majority of Bedouin people. Most of them are Bedouin. Like the Abbasids, there are no Egyptians, there are only Bedouins. And this is all Bedouin in North Africa and Spain. But here, the Greeks were dominant, and this also fixed a problem that I noticed in my Observer game, which I ran to see if everything was working correctly. Byzantium would gain all of this just because rebels. Rebels would spawn instantly, and they would reclaim everything. They have not owned this for hundreds of years, and that's completely illogical. They will still flip to Byzantium if they are Orthodox, but there are very few Orthodox provinces left. Well, there are some, but those, yeah, it's like 3 or 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Anyway, now they flip to either the Muradids or the Dalisandurids or the Hassans here, because they are now Greek. Crete, on the other hand, is still Bedouin, because both of their provinces are Bedouin. I also switched the culture of the Metarids to Mali, because they only had like 3 Bedouin provinces and loads of Mali provinces. And I gave them the rest of Mali here, because it made sense. I mean, they are the Kingdom of Mali, so it doesn't make sense for the Kingdom of Mali to exist here. So I removed the cores of Mali. There are still cores here, though, for EU4, I think, or some country. So, those were the cultures I switched. I did not switch the culture of Frisia, though. Frisia is a weird one. It's a Welsh kingdom that rules, wait for it, not a single Welsh province. They rule Dutch people and German people. And in my test games, they do fine for themselves. So it's no big deal. Sometimes they switch stuff to Welsh. Sometimes they lose this to rebels that form Utrecht or Holland. I also, speaking of cores, I added some cores on surrounded single provinces. For example, this was Italian. This is still Italian. I left it Italian because it's a sea province. It makes sense for them to have it. But no other country had a claim here, and it's not even Italian. It's Polish. It's actually Polish. So, I gave Poland a claim on it. And I also removed Italy's core. So they will have to core it again, but it's no problem because Italy is the undisputed #1 power in the world. And they look kind of like a cross, though they could work on their penmanship, because this is a little bit off. Anyway. I also had to edit the ideas of certain countries, because no one was colonizing except for Asturias. No one, absolutely no one got exploration ideas except for these guys here, and they are vassals of the Mohammedans. So, I added some colonization ideas to several countries. Mostly I gave it to the Knights of Santiago, because they are Castilian and they are Spanish. They have Spanish ideas, even. So I thought it made sense. Brittany has exploration, England has exploration. The Metartids have exploration, because why not? And I added some Russian expansion ideas to Gonbadids and Kutayids, in case any one of them reach Russia, this part here. Otherwise it will stay uncolonized until people start colonizing it from the east, which usually happens, unfortunately. And I also took a look at the Mohammedids. The Mohammedids they are still very strong, without a doubt the second power in the world at the starting date. They had cores on all of this, and it was all theirs except for the Fadalids. But the Muqtarids and the Jarvanids were theirs. So I thought, that's a bit too much. So I released some vassals. They are still vassals of the Mohammedids, and the Mohammedids will quickly absorb them, and they still have cores on all their territories. But now they can lose them in wars, and they can be forced to release them, for example, or lose them to rebels. They are Bedouin Arabic, though, so most likely they will most likely not rebel, most likely not be formed by rebels even, and the Mohammedids still kept Algarve, this part here, and this chunk of Algeria. It's just to make it a bit more interesting. Oh, this is also their vassal. It's an inland vassal, though, so they will usually not absorb this unless they conquer some stuff that border it. And I personally find it more pleasing to the eye to have a vassal there. So, another thing I did was to add personal unions into the start date, because I cannot see two Gavel-kind kingdoms like Lithuania and Sweden being converted as just Lithuania without any Swedish cores. I mean, they were destined to split. So what I did was I edited out the complete union, and instead added Sweden as an independent country. But they started a union under Lithuania, and in my test games they have usually been able to keep the union as well. So it's all good there, but they can still rebel and form Sweden, for example. or be forced to release them in a war. The same thing with England and Scotland here. Scotland is in a union under England because they were also Gavel-kind kingdoms, both of them. Those are the only ones I did it for, though. Some other kingdoms, I actually don't think there were any other kingdoms unified under Gavel-kind, so those were the only ones. Also, I did some minor stuff. Well, this is not very minor though. Byzantium is kind of big and kind of strong. But I reasoned that because they haven't controlled this part for hundreds and upon hundreds of years, they don't have the claims for it. They still have claims on Greece, but they do not have claims on this, nor on the boot of Italy, though they will usually conquer it anyway. We will have to see. Also keep in mind that they have I have the DLC pack, I think it's called Purple Phoenix or something, so they have lots of quests and ideas and missions and stuff to use to reclaim Turkey if they so wish. Also, Poland owns this. I have nothing to do with this. I just found it fun that Poland owned it. Byzantium's capital is actually in Serbia. So, for some minor stuff I did, I added a core for Venetia in Venice, because the great company just recently took it over. So there's a slight chance that Venice will come back, though it's incredibly unlikely. I also made it so that the White Company exists because they were usually Byzantium. Now they are the dominant power here, because I wanted some republics. It's the same thing with the Knights. The Knights own the heel here, because I just wanted them to exist. It's more fun when they exist. We need some small nations to be present for the game to be interesting. Or I mean, really interesting. Also, because of a request, or not exactly a request, because of a comment I got on one of my videos that commented on the fact that the Lithuanian kings, the Ofgardinas kings that we played as in episode 3 of the Crusader Kings campaign, that instead of Ofgardinas, it should be I don't know how to pronounce it, so pronounce it is. So it's Isgardinas. So I edited the name, and now they are Isgardinas. So, anyway, that's pretty much it for the conversion video. For fun, I will show you the kings that are currently ruling and some stuff, some culture. This is the cultural map mode. We can start with that. The British Isles are Norse. Heavy Irish presence here. As you can see, German and Cosmopolitan, some Occitane. Still some Welsh here. Castilian and Bedouin Arabic. This is very Bedouin Arabic. You can just take a look by yourselves here. Listen to the lovely holiday music provided by a free Paradox DLC, which you should all get, by the way. The Germanization of Finland. And we'll also take a look at, let's see, unfortunately there is no ruling dynasty map mode. Oh, one interesting thing is this. Poland owns this trade node here. And this trade node is pretty much tying everything together here. Oh, I edited England, so the Great British decision can be taken by Norse countries, because they are Norse. I also made sure that Abyssinia got Ethiopian ideas, because for some reason they didn't. And I wanted them to have Ethiopian ideas instead of the generic national ideas. So, religious map. Nothing exciting. There are two dominant religions, Catholicism and Sunni Islam. And some Zoroastrians here. They will not survive. I can assure you that. So, If there's anything you have any questions about, feel free to leave a comment. But I think this will be the game we play. I have edited this for a couple of days, and I am very pleased with the result. So anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the first Europa Universalis episode of Alea Iacta Est.